tell us about that one time, the time you had training with the North London Saracens?
Okay, yeah, I have a bit of ties with Saracens. My friends actually have some stakes in Saracens, so they got me this opportunity to actually go to England and have some training with Saracens. And if I remember well, I first had to attend the testimonial dinner of Neil the Cock. I don't know if you know him. He's a South African rugby player. Neil the Cock. I'm sure you're not very conversant with him, but he played for Saracens for so long. He had about 250 caps for Saracens. So they invited me for a testimonial dinner, which I went and attended in England. And after that, they invited me to have a training session with Saracens themselves. So I went down to Allianz Park to have this training, and I was there for 2 weeks. So I had a couple of sessions with them, and I can tell you it was one of the best experiences I've ever had to see how professionals act and how professionals train. So that was something good for me. To open up my eyes and said, okay, maybe there's a shot in playing professional if I work hard. However, maybe it won't happen, but it's something that I would advise the youngsters who are coming up to look up to see that they take their rugby to the next level and work hard to get certain places.
Two things about that time that you had in Saracens. What impact did it have on your career? Did you have a change in direction, a change in objectives as a professional, as a player here in Uganda?
Definitely, because I got to see how professionals train. I can tell you here we're really training very hard. Those professionals don't train this hard because when they're in season, their training is about 30 minutes. It's just polishing up because they've already done the hard work during the off season. So I think that should be a change in the way we train as well, because if you're in season, you're not supposed to be training hard. You need to keep the body, you need to preserve the body and the energy so that you can be in position to play games. And I think going forward, maybe if our coaches would also take that, because when you're in season, you need to be easy on the players. Work them out a lot when they're off season, but when they're in season, keep their bodies in shape so that they can be in position to play. So this changed my rugby perspective quite a lot, because I got to rub shoulders with the best rugby players. They are the likes of Mario Toju, the likes of Owen Farrell. These are guys who are really humble, but they are good players, and they have come out of the ranks to be one of the best players in the world.
So essentially, that could be the most important lesson that we could pick as Uganda Rugby in order for us to progress and make our sport more professional as we can.
Absolutely, because like I explained, it's not about how much you work when you're on season. It's about what you're getting right and how you're making things work for you. Because they do a lot of game review and they do a lot of polishing and say, okay, let's change this, let's do this. But not coming and you're working very hard and yet you have a game over the weekend. It's just more of getting things done because you've already done the hard work during off-season.
Let's talk about your career in a whole. You've had great partnerships, you've had great games, you've had bad games. Who could be off your head? Who could be the toughest opponent you faced?
Wow, over the years, tough opponents keep changing, definitely. And back then, me and Oscar used to have this kind of toughness we had because we were all playing the same number, and then we play for one of the best clubs in Uganda. So we were tough on each other. We didn't want to give each other space. We were ever in each other's faces. And to me, I think that was tough. But over the years, things have changed, definitely. You find players who are playing for the opposite team who are really tough. When they get the ball, the one runs straight at you. Players like Justin Chimono. And you really see players like Pius Ogena. Those are really tough players. And in your mind, you'll be thinking twice facing them. But however, you have to come out of that shell and face them, whatever the circumstance is, because you're playing a rugby game. So when they come hard at you, you also go hard at them.
That's true. Can I please remind you of one of those moments that seem to be unforgettable? The time you had a game against Collins Injera, found yourself standing opposite the great Collins Injera at Ngong Road.
Yeah.
How tough was that as an experience on the national team?
Those are memories I actually quite remember vividly, because Collins Injera, it was Humphrey Kayange, was one of the in-talked players in the world. He was a sevens player. He was playing for Kenya 15s. And here I was playing 13, and I'm facing Humphrey Kayange. So I didn't really look back. I said, you know what? This is rugby. It's a tough sport. Let's just face each other. Whatever comes our way, let's go for it. And I can believe you, I can tell you, I really did a very good job, and I was proud of myself, and the coaches were actually proud of me standing in front of a big guy, because that time I was really small, standing in front of a big guy, but proving that this is the number we're both playing, and we have to show each other who is better in the number. But it's something I look up to and tell the young generation that, guys, it's not the size of the person, it's what you have in your heart that is going to take you where you want to go. So come out of your shell, prove to the person who's standing in front of you that you can be better than him and you can do the right thing.
Now, that is a message that I personally would love to hear, because
that is a message going directly to you.
Thank you very much, because I've had to dig a lot deeper because of my size in order to be able to play this sport, and I know that size is not the only mark that we'll need to be able to play the game.
Yeah, because I can tell you a story. I wasn't big, I wasn't very big. When I came out of high school and I started playing for Heathens, I was a small lad, but I was quite skillful. So one time they asked me if I could go to the gym. I hated the gym very badly. I said, no, I don't want to go and have these body pains. I'm not ready to go to the gym. But in 2012, Helen picked me aside. Helen Butime picked me aside with Scott and said, you know what, Michael, you're a very good player, but you need to increase on some size. So I didn't take that for granted, and they even recommended a gym I would go to. And Helen waited for me in that gym and said, I would sponsor you if you don't have money, so that I see you get to the next level. I remember very well I went to that gym. It's in Tinda, it's called Akon's Gym.
Is that the one next to the mosque?
Yes. And
with the instructor,
it's called Coach
Yes,
I can tell you many rugby players have gone to him and they have transformed their lives. Scott has been gymming in that gym for, I don't know, the last 10 years. Justin Chimona has gone to that gym quite a lot. Alex Mubiru goes to that gym. Matthias Ocho goes to that gym. So when I joined that gym, my rugby changed. I put on some mass. I became more confident in my rugby game. I would run at anyone I feel like. I would tackle anyone I feel like. So it's how you look at things and how you're going to dedicate yourself to the sport. It's about sacrificing, I could say. So if you sacrifice to get you to a certain level, then you have to go for it.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that message. I've gone to that gym. I had started gymming towards the end of last year. The first few sessions were really painful. I felt sick for a week. And by the time I was ready to go back, it was Christmas and we were on a break. And
so let me just tell you about gym. So when you enter the gym, the first day, second day, definitely you're going to feel body aches. But what is going to take out those body aches is if you keep going to the gym frequently. And after some time, trust me, you'll get used. You'll not even feel any body pain, but then you'll feel that you're gaining more than the pain. So you'll be gaining your size, you'll be gaining some conditioning, and you'll become a better player.
I think now I have another reason to start going back to the gym.
Absolutely.
To get to your size. Probably in a year or two, I'll see a turn in my career as a rugby player.
Yeah, you should.
You've hung up your boots in the 15s department, and you're still taking part in the sevens department, and we could say you're nearing the evening of your career. What plans do you have after you've made your final walk off the playing surface? So
I could still be playing the sevens and for Heathens for maybe a couple of seasons. However, I'm trying to plan my way after rugby, life after rugby, and I looked at a point of going into strength and conditioning, because I realized that is the area that we lack most as a country, as a union, definitely, because over the years we've seen the union trying to get in strength and conditioning coaches who have done a good job. I would say Kim, just across the country, has really done good for Uganda, and definitely we've been paying some money for him to come here. So we need to have people who can do this strength and conditioning right down here at the country. So I looked at that direction, because strength and conditioning is lacking. If you look at the players we have, are quite good, but then they lack the strength and conditioning mentality, and they lack the skills that instills in them the strength and conditioning. So I looked at it as a point that I can take up and maybe see if I could get more knowledge about it and more training to get me a better person. And maybe in the future, we don't need to import coaches from around, from SA or from Kenya, and then we can have our homegrown coaches who have actually become better here.
Yeah, true. In addition to strength and conditioning, what else can we pick from all the other countries that you've been able to visit as a player and as a union, Uganda? What else can we pick from those countries in order to get better in the direction that you would love to see us?
Basically, it would be the funding. If the funding is better, then the rugby can also be bettered. You look at countries who are spending quite a lot in investing in rugby, and they're actually picking out results. I can take you down to South Africa. Those boys are not big, but the money they have invested in their sevens program is quite interesting. We were down in Stellenbosch where they train, I think 2 seasons ago. That was in 2018 before we went to the World Cup. And we were there for about a week, but you could see the difference in the way they hold themselves, the difference in the way they run their program, and it was quite interesting. So the investment they've done, they're actually getting more out of it, and you can see they're yielding a lot of fruits out of it. These boys are not big, but they're taking the world at storm, and it's a country that we can look to. It's not very far. South Africa is quite near, so the more the funding, the better our lives and the better our rugby will become.